Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs with Amaris Pollock. I am with Dave Welsh, who is the owner of Reunion Hall, which is in Haddonfield, New Jersey. He is joining us to talk about his multiple concept restaurant or eatery. And I'm very excited to introduce all of our listeners to that, especially those who are in New Jersey. And hey, if you're in Philadelphia or anywhere in the tri-state area, by all means, come visit their this place because it's going to be amazing. But Dave, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Just one quick thing. We're actually in Haddon Township.
Oh,
So, because
Haddon Township. Okay.
Haddonfield is actually dry. So, we are over in Haddon Township, which, allows liquor licenses. So there is there's a bar incorporated as part of Reunion Hall.
Gotcha. So I was like, oh, I stand corrected. And yes, Haddonfield is definitely a dry town. It's always been a dry town. So
Yep.
um so if you're looking for that, like obviously like Haddonfield is the place, but you are the place to be in New Jersey. So first off, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and about your history.
Okay. Yeah. So I am originally not from the restaurant world. I am from the running world. I was an engineer for a couple of years. I have a bunch of little running stores in Southern Jersey, and then opened my first restaurant 5 years ago, called The Mile out in Runnymede, and then wanted to venture into something that was more of a collaborative effort, inspired by a lot of places I've been in Colorado and in Texas. Kind of the idea of bringing a food hall and a very good bar slash brewery type environment all into one building.
And I mean, that's always a benefit because everybody, when they go out, they want to like eat, they want to drink, but you actually have multiple concepts in that one building. So I love that idea.
Yeah, and what people like is it's one tab. That's the biggest difference. Like, you come in, you eat from three different restaurants off of one menu. You could drink from two different bar areas, but it all goes on one tab. So you're not having to pay each area and check out multiple times. It just consolidates it down, and then we take care of it on the back end.
Yeah. Now, we spoke previously, and discussed that part of your concept or what you wanted to do moving forward with this is with your athletic, propensity, you've
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that the foods that are offered are, on the healthier side. So, I'm sure you have comfort foods that are a little bit more higher in caloric intake, but you also have offerings that are, something that's like on the healthier side.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So with the idea with, like, the three different kitchens, one is called Chicken Joint, which obviously is based mainly on chicken. Local Standards is based on kind of a barbecue sandwich, fresh cut fries concept. And then Poppy Taco, which is owned by Ashley Coyne, who has another restaurant in town called Good Beat. And what that is it's basically an all vegan, gluten-free concept. So you've got and it's not just tacos. So that's one thing we always try to tell people. It's called Poppy Taco, and it's based around that. But the main thing is that's your vegan option. There's no cross contamination. Her kitchen and her serving area are both completely isolated from everybody else's. So, people that are very sensitive don't have to deal with any cross contamination, and it just gives you that healthier flair. So,
Yeah.
which is, some runners will want that. We also have a full list of non-alcoholic beers, non-alcoholic mocktails to kind of go along with it and to pair with that person that wants to be in the bar or the brewery environment, doesn't want the alcohol and doesn't want the fried food. So that's, we try to just make a more inclusive restaurant that kind of anybody can come hang out in, no matter what your dietary or choices are of food or drink.
Now, I know a lot of the trends like of late, I feel like the younger crowds are kind of trend like making everybody trend towards everybody by that I mean restaurateurs and breweries and whatnot, where they're starting to build around the idea of bringing, their kids, their whole family, like including the four-legged ones. So I don't know if you have that kind of incorporated or not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have, very, very family oriented. With being a restaurant in Jersey, you're really not allowed to have dogs. People, whether places follow that rule or not, our insurance does not allow us to do it.
Okay.
And we also have a big turf area outside where if a dog was to go to the bathroom on it, it would ruin the turf. So
Mm.
we are not animal friendly unless they are service animals. by then, everybody has any means absolutely to bring in their service animal, but kid friendly. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we're not like the brewery scene where kids are running around everywhere and kind of like a playpen, but absolutely. I mean, it's, all ages are welcome. We host a lot of dine and donates for different sports in the area for the different athletic teams. And, that gets the younger kids in there with their parents. And yeah, but an all-inclusive environment.
Yeah, that's important too. And I just wanted to make sure that that was out there if that was something that you offered. And obviously, bring the little kids, like that's clearly family friendly. And dietary needs wise, I love that you have the poppy taco because, there's a lot of people out there that are following vegetarian and gluten-free dietary restrictions, but also by choice, they do that. So, I love that you have that option.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing was, like that was one of the main things that gave the idea of doing the three different kitchens was because cross contamination is so sensitive now to people
Yeah,
that really have there's certain allergies. And also, I'm not an expert in cooking vegan chicken and all like, so if you let three different restaurateurs come in and each be an expert in their specific area of expertise, the food's much better.
of
Like
course.
everybody specializing one as opposed to trying making everything okay. Let's make three different things great. And
And that,
that's kind of the idea behind it.
yes. So obviously we talked a little bit about the poppy taco and the dietary needs, but let's talk a little bit about the other two concepts too.
Yeah, so Ed's especially with the chicken joint, the sandwich that has kind of become the renowned one there is he makes all of his sauces from scratch, which is very different for wings. So you're not getting just, red hot, Frank's Red Hot for your hot sauce, and you're not just getting like normal honey for the honey that goes on a hot and honey thing. So he makes like a sriracha sauce. He makes all of his sauces are much more diverse than what a lot of people are used to. I mean, he's got a dry rub barbecue, a garlic parm, a chicken parm, a honey gochujang, and the big one is his General Tso's chicken sandwich, which he
Ooh,
makes, which is very different. So he takes a piece of fried chicken, covers it in the General Tso's, puts some of his fresh Asian slaw on top, and then a little bit of sriracha sauce on his roll. And that's just something it's caught on as a much different sandwich than you really see anywhere else.
yeah, and it sounds like a nice hearty sandwich too.
It is. It is. And then he serves everything with tater tots so that it's different than local standards who does everything with fresh cut fries. So
Yeah,
that's the trademark in local standards is all the fries are cut fresh every day, twice fried to make them extra crispy. It's kind of become their trademark in with their cheesesteaks, their burgers. He does a Cubano sandwich. He makes a mac and cheese. Just different things over there. His is a little bit more like standard bar flair with just made with better ingredients.
gotcha. So it's like comfort food that you would normally go to a bar and see the menu and get your chicken fingers or your cheesesteak egg rolls. I don't know if you have that, but and things like that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and so if, so as you said, or as we discussed, like there is that comfort, the level of comfort food where it's a higher caloric intake, but certainly, of course, you have the options of having healthier foods. I would love to try that chicken,
The General
General
Tso's.
Tso's
Yes.
chicken
That's
sandwich. And it
become
sounds,
one of the favorites. So
yeah. And then adding the coleslaw on it, like that just kind of like makes it like a chef's kiss.
yeah.
So given that you are located in New Jersey, and New Jersey has an abundance of breweries that, popped up in during the pandemic, even pre-pandemic. Do you carry any of the local breweries, any beers
We
on tap?
carry almost every one of them. So that's one of the big unique parts about Reunion Hall. So we have 56 beers on tap. I gave 30 different New Jersey breweries their own tap that they can have fun with. So I'm hands off. So I'm like, you guys put whatever beer you want on it, whatever cider, whatever sour, whatever stout, and let them kind of have fun with it. Because,
Mhm.
there's been a bunch of battles back and forth between the breweries and the bars and the liquor licenses and all the rules. And I was like, I'm friends with the breweries. I mean, that's kind of the environment I grew up in is, hanging out with those guys. A lot of the breweries from Tonewood to Double Nickel to Kings Road, they're all close by. I'm super close friends with all those guys, from the owners, from the beer tenders. And why not sell a local beer and sell it for they sell at a higher price than selling a Bud Light. So one, we make more money off of it. Two, you get a better quality product. And three, you're keeping the money within your state.
Yeah. You're,
So, I mean, it kind of, it stays full circle within New Jersey, which
yeah.
is great. So, and those guys are great to work with. I mean, we want to do an event. Brian from Double Nickel will be there in a minute with me, or the guys from Kings Road will be there in a second. So it's great working with them. And like, you've seen some of the new ones from Farm Truck popping up in the past couple of years. They've been great with events. And the guys are in Philly. I mean, Yards Brewery has been great. We do a ton of stuff with them. So I like keeping it local. That's what people want to see now. And like our secondary logo is the state of New Jersey, and it says drink local on it. And that goes between and ties both restaurants together. That's kind of like our, whatever you want to call it, the overhead logo of what Reunion Hall and the Mile both are.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's important to support local, because, you're being also introduced. If you visit from somewhere else, like if you cross the bridge from Philly and go into New Jersey to check you out, like you are being introduced to a whole lot of breweries that you might not have known about. And, you had mentioned Farmstead, I think it
Farm
was
Truck.
Farm
Farm
Truck,
Truck.
sorry.
Yep.
Yes, and which is in Medford, New Jersey.
Yep.
And I've passed by it several times and I've always wanted to check it out. So that would be one of those things where it's like, it's a smaller brewery. It's really cute. Have that availability to be like, okay, this is one of their beers. All right, let's see what they offer.
Yep.
I love that concept.
Yeah, and I think we're the first one to really give the breweries control of a tap line. I don't think anybody's ever done that before. Because here's the thing. I don't know what their best product is. And if they wanted to move fast and want us to bring more of it in, they're going to always give me what's the best. And
Yeah.
what I personally like from a beer is not what 99% of America likes from a beer. So, why not let the breweries pick it themselves? And then we do 2 English style side pours, which is very rare. If any bars in New Jersey and Southern Jersey, I don't think there are any that have these side pours, which, are used more for the lagers and pilsners, which are starting to finally make a little bit of movement in New Jersey. And we're not becoming just an IPA state anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
Jersey for the past couple of years, it's an IPA or bust. That's all anybody wanted to drink. And, the lagers and the pilsners are a little bit easier on your palate, easier on the stomach, more refreshing in the summer. And you're starting to see them make a headway. And, some of the breweries in Philadelphia, like Human Robot, have helped kind of bring that more to the limelight.
Yeah. I'm a huge Hefeweizen fan. I like them as far as like, I feel like it's still a heavier beer, but like I think, considering I love stouts, it's
Yep.
a much lighter beer to choose.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a Hefeweizen. I mean, it's few and far between. I mean, we keep Weinstefaner on 24/7 just because that is, that's your hef of choice for the world, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you have food, you have beer, you have people. Do you ever, you've been open, I think we discussed this, for 3 months
3 months.
now.
We opened middle of January. Yep.
So what kind of like events, now that we're, warming up and everybody's kind of being like stretching and like getting outside, do you have any events coming up that you're going to incorporate?
If the weather will cooperate, we would be having more of them. But we're doing we've been slowly introducing a Tuesday or Wednesday trivia, which will be going on year round once we figure out the exact day. And then we're doing a game night with this new game show you can do on the TVs on Wednesday. So the 2 of them, one's going to be Tuesday and one's going to be Wednesday, and that'll be every week. We do live music every Thursday night. And then we're going to be adding something on Saturday or Sunday coming up, hopefully outside with some live music. Because we have 3 outside areas. We have a dining bar area with a retractable roof. We have a fire pit lounge area. And then we have about 1,800 square foot of turf with some picnic tables. We'll put some games down there, just more of like a hangout area. So the goal of it is just kind of make it, a very comfy, open area you want to come to and just hang out for the day.
Yeah.
So TV's inside, TV's outside. The local Philly sports are always on. And if we want the sound on to hear the game, we'll put the sound on versus music. We have the ability to do different zones of music, so we can change that in and out.
That's very cool. And so we covered that, but I have to ask, like, if people are able to, with delivery, like food delivery options, Uber Eats and
Not
Caviar and
not currently doing any of that. One reason is there's not a lot of area for a driver to pick up the food.
okay.
Two is I personally don't believe bar food travels very well. So, if we make it and it sits there and then the driver gets it and it sits even longer, I don't want the quality of what we make to be, damaged. We're trying to also make this, trying to get people to come back out. The
Yeah.
pandemic's over. We want people to come out, socialize, see each other, get away from your computer, get away from your phone. The Patco Speed Line lets you off right behind the bar. So if you want to take the train in, we have 3 huge bike racks. You got the ability to take Uber. So come out and socialize. I don't have Uber Eats or any of those delivery apps, and I know we need them, and it helps, the food industry get their food out there, but, people need to go out and hang out more. We need to get out from underneath your covers in your house, turn off the Netflix, put the edible down and come out and socialize.
That is a fair point. Now off of you saying that, do you offer like areas like private parties or anything like that?
Yeah, so we're starting to introduce with having those different areas outside for people to be able to rent them out. There's no private room. That's one of the things we get asked all the time. There's no rooms within Reunion Hall. It's really an open bar area inside with the open air concept outside.
Mhm.
But people are renting it out for reunions, for parties, for graduation, and it's a little tricky because trying to take that on a busy Saturday night, we're really not doing it then. But if you want to reserve it during the week, you want to reserve it earlier in the day, you could just reach out to me and I could take care of you from there. So, and then we have, my 2 different GMs, they're helping really try to organize and figure out how this is going to work. We're still so new. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to figure out, do we want to let people make bigger reservations like that or not? Because we don't take any reservations for tables. It's first come, first serve. With the idea of, you can get a drink and hang out. You also have all the other local restaurants in the area that, if we're busy, go next door to me and go to Tacanelli's. Like, you're in Haddon Township, you've got plenty of options to enjoy.
Yes, that this is true. But if you're looking for a fun night out, and I want to reiterate the fact that you have that retractable roof, so you can go when it's, inclement weather, but when it's nice out, like right now, it's the rain's not coming and it's actually warmer out. Like you can retract that roof and everybody can just be
That's
open
gorgeous.
air. Yeah,
Yeah. And also that
exactly.
roof is heated too. So when it has been cold, we've got gas heaters underneath there. So we can control the temperature and keep it at 55 degrees underneath of it, even with all the walls open and exposed to the air.
Well, that it sounds absolutely lovely. And we unfortunately are running out of time. So let our listeners know where they can find you online and in person.
Yeah, so you can find us up on Haddon Avenue in Haddon Township at 206 Haddon Ave at Reunion Hall. And then Reunion Hall, New Jersey, or Reunion Hall NJ is our website. And then you've got all the different social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook are the 2 we're currently on. We'll be adding more as I get more help in doing social media.
Well, there you go. Dave, thank you so much for joining me on Food Farms and Chefs.
You got it. Thank you for everything.
Thank
Glad the
you.
sun's out.
Exactly.
I'll see you.
All right. Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. I am here with Rob Miskell, who is the owner of SauceBoy in Philadelphia. Rob, welcome to Food Farms and Chefs.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. So I am in a restaurant. You are in the bottom of Reading Terminal Market. So our listeners can't see that, but when I pop up the video, you can see that, which is a very, very interesting place. Um,
Yeah.
but being that you are in the Reading Terminal Market, it's like a food mecca in Philadelphia. But how did you actually get started in the culinary industry?
So it was a massive career change for me. I started off after I graduated from school. I went and got my master's and became a school teacher. I
Oh
did
wow.
that for several years in Philadelphia, middle school math and science. It wasn't really terribly fulfilling for me, like creatively in the ways I was looking. So like I would go home and like I got locked in on like making the perfect bolognese. I just kind of kept like an obsession, just like constantly trying to use every opportunity to like keep getting a little bit better. It just honestly became a way of practicing and learning, the basics of cooking. When I moved out of the classroom, I just decided to take the dive and went into kitchens and kind of cut my teeth. I started off at Zahav as the butcher in Philadelphia, and
Okay.
I did several kind of in and out stints with them. They're lovely people over there, amazing chefs that really kind of took a chance on me and helped me grow quite a bit. And then I worked in several other kitchens, Liberty Kitchen. I'm currently the head chef at Molly Malloy's in Reading Terminal Market.
Okay.
But all during that time, I decided it was time to like kind of go after the pasta that I wanted to do, like focus more as a pop-up.
Okay.
And I did that full time for a year and a half, kind of operating more like a food truck without the truck to kind of save money there and kind of do it the way that I could afford to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then now I've kind of shifted focus. I have a son now, so I needed to make some financial decisions to try and like make that happen. So it's more of like a pop-up seated dining, nicer kind of more like a fine dining kind of vibe a few times a year. And that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah.
And we have a food truck that's been built, but I'm not exactly sure when that will be rolled out.
Okay. So you kind of have run the whole gamut, including including Liberty Kitchen, which I know is quite interesting because that was attached to a brewery, if I recall, or is attached.
It is, yeah. So they had their original location at like Front and Girard, pretty much.
Okay.
And then this past year, I believe they added a second smaller location inside. I can't remember the name of the brewery, so excuse me for not remembering. But I do know that they have definitely expanded the business since I was with them, and they're doing. I was just one of their hoagie guys, but they're doing big things over there, and I'm really happy to see them continue to grow.
Yeah. And I don't want to like hyper focus on some of the previous jobs that you've had, but I know with every job that any chef has had, it, you gain more experience and more expertise. So, and as you had said, you wanted to delve into more of like the pasta fine dining. So, your history within the culinary community is kind of like setting you up with different like nuances of like, oh, okay, this is something that you created or something that you became more familiar with. And I'm sure it's kind of lended itself to some of the creations that you've come up with for SauceBoy.
Absolutely. Anytime you're in a kitchen with other people that are taking food seriously, no matter what the space is, like you're gonna, if you want to, you can soak up a lot of information really quickly. So I definitely did with Liberty Kitchen. I made some lifelong friends there and was able to pick up some knowledge from those guys as well. And you can get it everywhere.
Yeah. And I mean, I now know why you're in the bottom, the belly of the underbelly of Reading Terminal Market after mentioning Molly's. But so what is it like bouncing between all the different concepts and the history that you have and the startup of SauceBoy?
It's exhausting, but it's also very humbling and exciting. I feel very fortunate that I get to be a part of the team over at Molly Malloy's while I'm also chasing my own endeavors just in a different kind of capacity. The challenge I think for me now is being able to find the time to execute the things I want to execute for SauceBoy for those smaller events, because it is kind of a significant shift. Before this shift happened in the past 3 months, I was very much operating on a daily basis, like as a vendor at like breweries and whatnot, with the exception of I did like 2 residency stints. So I did one with like Mural City Cellars. That was actually when I went full time into the role, where I was just like set up at Mural City Cellars Wine Bar for a month and a half and just selling pasta to order and a couple of other items. And then I was selected to open the Lucky Well Incubator with Chad Rosenthal, where I got to do something kind of similar there along with a few other chefs. So this is like a big change for me, shifting the focus as to more like ticketed, 30-person dinners as opposed to like trying to like keep the pace up and get as many people in the door. But it's been a fun adjustment. It allows me to do things and challenge myself in ways that I haven't been able to necessarily do previously.
Yeah.
And I've been able to work with some really amazing people along the way. And I don't, I love picking up, insight and experiences with other chefs as much as possible. It helps me definitely grow quite a bit. So.
Well, let's delve into some of what you've created, or, for yourself. So what are some of the items that, people can look forward to from SauceBoy?
I think we're going to be looking forward to a lot more fresh and extruded pastas in the near future. Also, a lot more. I hadn't been able to really focus too much on proteins and like crudos and like more butchery and more entree focused centerpiece kind of menu items. It's really been more pasta centric, and we will always be a pasta centric business, but we're going to expand that a little bit as we go and kind of try and flex a little bit what we can do and have more offerings. We did like a really beautiful. I did a dinner with, if you're familiar with Emmett Philly, they're going to be opening a restaurant in the fall. I believe the fall. I don't hold me to that. But we did a beautiful dinner where we got to make extruded like ramp pasta. That was a really fun experience. And then we made a really beautiful spiced chicken liver ragu. So that was a lot of fun. So it's just more like not experimental, but like more. I'm looking for the right word. Just I've been really leaning on like more of the classics for the past couple of years. I think we're going to kind of move a little further into putting our own spin on things a little bit more here moving forward.
So you're going to get more creative with what you're offering.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's good, because like one of the things that I love about, cooking versus baking, although not knocking baking, you can get creative with too, but like with cooking, you can get very creative with what you come up with and the flavors, the profiles, how you build everything. So that's probably very exciting for you.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think it kind of makes me think, sometimes I'll see a dish and I'm trying to my first thought is, where did this come from? Like, how did you come up with this idea? And I remember that happened again. The chef over at Evan Snyder, he's the chef of Emmett, one of the owners. And he had this really beautiful dish that it was like a tagliatelle dish with salmon roe on it. And I was like, where did you come up with this beautiful kind of odd dish? And what was it? Oh my gosh, of course I'm spacing right now. Oh, his idea was, it's just like a fish carbonara. It's like a fish carbonara. I was like, oh, well, it started with a basic idea and you just kind of built it up from there, kind of put your own spin on it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. Now you had mentioned you wanted to perfect your bolognese. Is that something that's on order so that people can, I mean, obviously that's a protein, but
so my absolute 100% best-selling item ever, my most popular item, the one that people kind of know me for, is my house-made sausage ragu.
Okay.
So that's that kind of filled the void of the bolognese. It kind of was after I got pretty, good understanding of the pasta space and cooking Italian food, I got way more excited specifically about a sausage ragu just because it's, so flavorful and done right. So that was kind of that's what I'm kind of one of the better known items I would say.
Yeah.
That's, and when I do events, I try and get that one out there as much as possible because people do come out specifically for the sausage ragu. So.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing if you've got a name for yourself with something and so hyper specific
in
too.
Philadelphia too. In Philadelphia too. It's very humbling, and I feel very lucky that I get people to come out to eat the sausage ragu in a city full of Italian food.
Yeah, a huge city full of Italian food. And little pockets of other, cuisines, obviously not little pockets, but it's the fact that Philly is also very, very brutal. They'll let you know if they like something. Yeah. So the fact that you have people who come out specifically for it, that's a lot of accolades.
Oh, thank you.
I will say that I saw on your menu that you have a vodka sauce. That's something that I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, it's one of my favorites as well. Yeah, I think the last did that at the Lucky Well Incubator. A little spicy, you know. Yeah, I'd like to revisit that one. It's always a fun menu item.
It's definitely one of my favorites. So if you do revisit that again, I will sign up for it tenfold.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, what other things do we have to look forward to? You know, like as far as dining at your establishment, as far as ordering food, you know, how can do cater and questions like that. I'm curious about, and I know my listeners would be too.
I absolutely cater. I cater pretty regularly. The best way to reach out would be either directly through email, which I can provide, or also, honestly, I'm a big, huge user of Instagram. It's been the greatest tool I've had access to, especially considering it's like free to use. So I would recommend reaching out directly through there. You can also track events. I'll be releasing some info for another dinner here shortly. I'm just kind of getting some ducks in a row until that time comes. But I will be doing, at the very least, like quarterly dinners, aiming between 30 and 60 seaters.
Okay.
And again, yes, catering is always available. Please reach out and we can set something up. I can send some info to people at any time about that.
Of course. And you know, given that you kind of bounce around, you've previously bounced around, and I know that you obviously are, you know, your head chef, as you had said, at Molly Malloy's. Should we expect you to do any pop-ups or any, you know, collaborations in the future as well?
Yes, 100%. There's a lot of really talented, amazing chefs in the city that I would love to have the opportunity to like work alongside, even just for a day again. And I will absolutely be doing that. There's nothing specifically on the book, so I don't want to give anything too specific. I would just say if you follow along in the Instagram account, there will be updates on any specific events that are coming down the line, so people can get tickets and follow along that way, and see what more specifically like SauceBoy Philly is up to. That'd be the best way to track it all, I'd say.
Yeah. Now, given that you kind of have a huge base, obviously, in carbs, aka pasta, are you going to be are you going to play around with any of the seasonal vegetables? Because I know that you had said like you did a ramp pasta with somebody. So are you going to play off of something like that, like beets and lentils? I see a lot of very interesting combinations where, you know, root vegetables or whatnot are folded into the pasta.
That's great. I mean, I try and keep everything seasonal at all times, and now with the introduction of being able to do more extruded pasta myself, that becomes far easier. I have a lot more control over you know, the whole entire process when I'm getting to do things like that. So absolutely, you know, those kinds of things kind of come up as menus are being created for my like process. I'm not like necessarily planning out too far ahead. It more just kind of comes to me in the moment, like what's available and like what can we do that's going to be kind of fun and what's going to look cool on a plate. Honestly, is a large part of it for me with extruded, or like folding ingredients into a pasta dough, because I find that, you know, while you can pick up some notes in a pasta dough, a lot of times it's like largely about the way it's going to look on the plate anyway. So
It is true. I mean, there are definitely certain types of pastas that I lean towards. You know, if I want something that's like a heavier cream sauce, I'll lean towards like a fettuccine. But if I want to grab some of the food items, I apologize, but I don't know what the pasta shape is, but it's where it's like it's almost like a cone and kind of like full like a circular cone. I don't know if
campanelli.
I think so, yeah.
It
And
looks like little trumpets. It means little trumpets
yeah.
in Italian. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Those
love
are pretty.
those. They are really pretty. And
They're great with like peas. falls right into the little cavity there.
Oh, that's a good idea. I never even thought to incorporate. You know what? That's actually something I've never done is add peas into any kind of sauce.
Oh my gosh, I'm a big, especially this time of year, big peas guy.
Especially with because it's spring, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you ever incorporate like legumes into some of the pasta that you create?
Did you say legumes?
Yeah, like the big,
Yeah. Yeah. Off the top of my head, I haven't done a like like I did like I every year I do a lenticchie kind of like lentils kind of vibe, so something a little bit smaller. But I had a dinner at like Vetri Cucina 2 years ago that really left an impression on me because obviously they're doing amazing food there in general. But it was like a really traditional take on a pasta dish. It was like currants and nuts inside it, and just kind of took it back to like Italian food before there was like the introduction of tomatoes. And like I don't know, that's just kind of where my mind went when you said like legumes and whatnot. Is like kind of doing something a little bit more unexpected, maybe something that can almost kind of be a throwback to maybe when there's not necessarily tomatoes in every single, or like 90% of the dishes.
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of where my head went.
of course. And thank you. And thank you for the idea in my head because I was like, yeah, peas. Why haven't I done that? But for our listeners who would like to meet you in person, try some of your food, where can they find you online and order?
Please find me at SauceBoy.Philly on Instagram. That's the quickest way to track what we're doing as far as events and reaching out directly. You can also reach out through email, which I can provide here if you're comfortable. That's sauceboy.philly@gmail.com for more specific questions, perhaps like catering or whatever it may be. And if you want to just come out and you're downtown, Center City, Philadelphia, you want to come out for a meal, I'm at Molly Malloy's every day, pretty much, of the week. Slinging out some of the best cheesesteaks you'll ever have alongside an amazing team. Biscuits fresh made every morning. We're doing fun stuff. So come on by, say hey.
All right. Rob, thank you so much for joining me on Food Farms and Chefs.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too. And we will be right back after the short break. Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. And I am very happy to introduce all of you to Nick Beam, who is one of the owners of Phat Jawns, which is located inside of the American Legion Eden Stanley Post 294 in Pemberton, New Jersey. It's a mouthful, but check them out. Nick, welcome to Food Farms and Chefs.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, we're really excited about this. Looking forward to getting started.
Of course. So you have a co-owner who's Kevin Coyle, if I'm correct. Okay. And now how did both of you get into the culinary industry?
So myself, I mean, this was something I did years ago in my early 20s. I pretty much held every position you could possibly hold in a restaurant. I did front of house work, back of house work. And I did that primarily throughout my 20s into my early 30s. I kind of changed gears a little bit when I got into my 30s and got into healthcare for a while. I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And Kevin and I got to talking about, a year, maybe a year and a half ago. And we kind of like were kicking around this idea for a food truck. We were actually talking about maybe launching this down the shore first. But to make a very long story short, we landed at the American Legion Hall in Pemberton. And we decided to launch a brick and mortar in conjunction with our food truck, outside of the American Legion.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about that and, like the concept. And I mean, it's called Phat Jawns, so I'm assuming that you're going to have a nice, strong sandwich.
Yeah, sure. So it was actually interesting. I was down the shore with my family, walking the boardwalk one night, like 2 summers ago. And I really had I had a craving for a cheesesteak and, like maybe 6, 10 wings. And like down the shore, it was really hard for me to find like what I wanted. Like I'm very specific when it comes to like a cheesesteak, wings, everything like that. So I wound up talking to Kevin the next day, and I was like, you know what, man? I was like, I think like a food truck down here, like if we could start to make, like the really good sandwiches that we're accustomed to and get really good wings, I'm like, I think we might have something there. So with any food truck in the state of New Jersey, you have to be attached to a commercial kitchen to use as your commissary. So Kevin and I did things a little backwards. We just went ahead and bought the truck without a commissary first. We flew down to Florida, talked to a few people, bought a food truck, told our wives that when we got back. That was fun. And luckily, like, both were very supportive, of the endeavor. And we started to look for a kitchen commissary that we could attach the truck to. So started to call around and spoke with a commander out of an American Legion Hall. I think he was in Mount Laurel, and he said, listen, I would love to have you. I love the concept. He's like, but I don't have the space for you here for a truck. He said, but there's another guy that you might want to talk to in Pemberton. So they they set us up with a meeting over there. We met with the House Committee at the American Legion, and they said, listen, like, we love the idea, but we'd also like our kitchen open, for our members as well. Like they've had a couple kitchen operations in there, and the kitchen was empty when we got there. And they said, would that be something you were willing to take on? And it wasn't in our initial plans, to be honest, but we said, you know what, like maybe this would be better than just doing a food truck. So, we agreed to it, and everybody at the American Legion down there in Pemberton has been so incredibly supportive and welcoming of us and our food concept. And it's been a really good marriage up to this point. We've been operating for 3 months there, and everybody in the Legion Hall seems to be very happy. And now we're ready to move to phase 2 and really start putting our food truck out there and doing more and more events with the food truck.
Yeah. Now, just out of curiosity, because usually people see those the American Legions, and they don't know if they're allowed to go in or not. So this is something where, yes, obviously members are going to be able to go in and eat and enjoy your foods, but is this something where the public can, no matter what time of day or whatever that you're operating, can the public come in and, sit down, order some food or go in, pick up some takeout?
Yeah, so there's definitely a little bit of nuance to it, right? So the American Legion Hall, the bar area and everything like that is specifically for members only. Like, it's very important to know that. Now if you are active military, if you have family that was military, like, it's always something that you could explore with the Legion Hall as to like what the requirements are to become a member. And that's something that we always encourage a lot of, our guests to do, like that ask that specific question. So, the bar area and seating is specific to members, but we are open, for pickup and takeout. We serve all of the third-party apps as well, such as DoorDash and Uber Eats. And there are a few tables that are like outside of the bar area where people are able to come and sit, and just eat. Like, can't utilize the bar or anything like that, but they are allowed to just come grab a sandwich, like if you just want to come and get lunch or something like that. But there is a very important distinction there. And we are trying to, encourage any members that are, of course, eligible, or any people that are eligible to become, members of an American Legion Hall to do just that.
Yeah, and that's key too, because not only can you support local, but you're supporting the military, supporting vets, supporting members who are participating in the American Legion.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that because, I was speaking with one of the members of the House Committee. Her name is JoJo. We worked very closely with, with her and Ron and CJ, or like, just a couple of the names that come to mind. And, she had said something to me about like, how I got into the work or doing the work. And I just said, look, I said, I this is something that I've always liked to do. Like, I love to cook. I definitely love to eat. So, the two go hand in hand. And I said, like, it's nice to be doing something finally, like, that I feel fulfilled again. Like, it's been a while since, I had gotten that from my career. And she said, well, what's interesting about that? She said, you are doing this in a place where the people here have went and fought for your right to be able to do that, right? To be able to pursue something that you love. And that was something that really stuck with me ever since, she said that to me. So I feel like we're in a really great position there, to be working and serving, like, all of those people that have went and like fought, for those rights that sometimes, a lot of people take for granted. So it's something that we don't take lightly and that we really appreciate we have the opportunity to do.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you're doing that for them. You know, my stepfather is, you know, was a lifelong military man. So, you know,
He should come and be a member.
well, he lives in South Carolina, so it's a little
That's
far,
okay.
but
He can still be a member. That's fine.
that's true. So, you know, I appreciate that you have that, you know, available for everybody, but also let's delve into what you have to offer because,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, let's
let,
do that.
let's get everybody hungry.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't want to go, too overboard with the menu. Like personally, I think it's still a little too big. I think we got a few too many items on there. But so I mean, obviously we'll start off with a classic cheesesteak, right? Like we're talking Philly, we're talking cheesesteaks. Really good cheesesteak. There's not much to it. You know what I mean? You need really good bread, you need really good meat, and you need really good cheese, right? So we're going to start you out with that nice sliced ribeye. I season that up just perfect on the grill. Okay. We smother that with Cooper Sharp American cheese. All right. And then we pile all of that meat into a beautifully fresh baked seeded Delicios roll. Now I buy the 22s
Mhm.
and we cut them down, right? So we offer a mini John and we offer a Phat Jawn, right? So if you want to go mini, like that one's around 5 to 6 inches. That's got about a half a pound of meat. You want to go with the big boy? That's more of a 10, 11 inch roll. We're gonna shove a pound of meat into that thing.
Yeah.
I'm also playing around with something that we're calling the Mega John. I actually put that on Facebook like a week or two ago when we were slow and I was bored. So I just took the whole 22 and I think I had like 50 or 55 ounces of meat in it. And I don't even know how much cheese I put on the thing, to be honest with you. It was insane. Like I had to pick it up like with both hands. Like the bread was, it was like fall. It was ridiculous. Like it was ridiculous. Like we brought it out to the bar and everybody's like, what are you insane? Like who the hell's going to eat that thing? So, I mean, that could probably feed like a family of four. Like, and
I,
I'm not even exaggerating, but I need to figure out how to wrap it first because none of the wraps that I had in the store were big enough to wrap it. So that was kind of a problem. We have to
mm,
multi-wrap the Mega John, so it's not on the menu yet. So that's our bread and butter. That's our classic. Like I'll put our cheesesteak up against any of the big boys in the area, right? Like, listen, I've been to Angelo's, I've been to Curly's, I've been to Lilo's, all top-notch, stellar sandwiches. Very confident to say I can put mine up for the Pepsi challenge with any of those. We make a hell of a cheesesteak.
well,
Um,
it's funny that you say that because there are two cheesesteaks that I always say are like one I'd marry and one I'd have an affair with, and it coincides with Jay's Joint and Curly's. Those are my two favorites.
Uncle Curly knows what he's doing out there.
Oh, he
Uncle
does.
Curly's not playing around. Yeah, yeah. No, Uncle Curly's amazing. Angelo's like the mecca because that bread is just forget it. Like it's just insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, you come through the post, we'll give any of them a run for their money. So that's the bread and butter, right? So I got
Mm.
the classic Philly. Also do a fresh chicken cheesesteak. I don't use the chicken pucks. I use fresh chicken that we marinate with a little bit of olive oil, spices, and we chop that chicken down. Same thing, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, smother it in Cooper, throw it on a C Delicio. So those are your two, bread and butter sandwiches. Couple of
Yeah.
things that you might not expect to see. We do a spin on chicken and waffles that we're super proud of, and we call that the choffle. So I take two pearl sugar Belgian waffles, and then we do a gigantic, obscene looking fried chicken breast. The chicken breast, I do like a double dredge with that, right? So I dredge that in seasoned flour, smack it with a little bit of tempura batter, then re-dredge it with seasoned flour and maybe a little bit of Texas breading just to get some different flavors to it. When we fry that thing up, I mean, it just totally blows up and it looks obscene on the bun. And then we make a secret in-house sauce. We just call it the John sauce. It's got a little bit of spice. It's got a little bit of sweetness. But with the chicken and the waffle and the John, it goes really, really well. We put sweet potato fries on the side with that, and we give you a fresh cup of pure maple syrup to dip those sweet potato fries in. So the chicken and waffle, really, really nice item. Really nice item. Something a little different. Probably never had chicken and waffles like we do it at the Post.
Yeah, definitely not with the pearl sugar. I've never
Yeah,
had that. Yeah. And that's a really sweet waffle. So
yeah.
you know, like if you've never had pearl sugar waffles before, like be warned that it's definitely a sweeter waffle.
Yeah. It's
But
a nice
perfect.
item.
Yeah, perfect
Yeah.
for it because they're fat. Well, keeping in line with the
See how nice
pH.
how nice that works out.
Yeah.
We kind of plan that one out. And then I'm trying to think of the other one. Oh, so we all named the sandwich after, we named the sandwiches after our kids, right? So my son's two kids, Madeline and Owen. So we got the Maddo John. And that's a wrap. That's cheese. I'm sorry. That is chicken tenders, mozzarella sticks, macaroni and cheese bites, French fries, honey mustard, all put into a wrap and wrapped up. We call that the Maddo, right?
Okay.
Super delicious sandwich. And then we have my partner's nephew, AJ. His father has a funny nickname for him. He calls him AJeezy. That is the cheesesteak, chicken fingers, mozzarella sticks, French fries. That goes on the seated licios. A lot of people load that up with like lettuce, tomato, mayo, ketchup, a typical fat sandwich. It's got other names in other restaurants, right? If we didn't create it, we just swap the names. And then the one I named after my daughter, we call that Gianna's Healthy John. That is a grilled chicken breast on a brioche bun. We melt provolone, bacon, hot honey drizzle, peaches, and then top it with arugula. Yes, everybody makes that face when I say that. I made that face the first time we made it. I'm telling you, I tell you what, it really goes to get all those flavors, right? It's a very delicate intricacy of flavors, and it works. It really works. Sweet potato fries on the side with that. Funny thing about that, my daughter absolutely despises and hates grilled chicken. So
really?
just to have a little fun with her, I named the chicken sandwich after her. So we always have a laugh about that. So yeah, that's Gianna's Healthy John. That's another one of our men. Very popular actually on our menu. Gets ordered a lot. Probably second or third most next to the cheesesteak.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Do you grill the peach so that the caramel, like the sugars and the natural sugars, I should say, and the peach?
No, we put them on cold. We put them
Okay.
on cold. Yep, we put them on cold to kind of offset some of the heat from the sandwich.
I have to say the Maddow sounds like a perfect like kids meal. Like it's all the things that kids love, like wrapped into one.
Mash it up, roll it all together. It works.
And sweet potato fries, everybody loves those. So, you
Yeah.
can't go wrong with that.
Yep, sweet potato fries are easy. Just hit them with a little kosher salt, and the maple syrup on the side is a great addition to them.
Now you had mentioned the fact that you like chicken wings. So I saw that you have wings on your menu.
Yeah.
So
we do a jumbo steamed wing, right? So we get them from our food provider. It's a jumbo steamed wing. And I got to tell you, like when we first got them, I thought they were a little too big, to be honest. I'm more of like a smaller wing guy. But the feedback that we got from them was so incredible. We're like, there's no way we can change these. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody really likes them. And we offer a variety of different sauces with them. So obviously your classic buffalo, we do a nice mango habanero. It's got a little sweetness. It definitely has some bite on it. Sweet chili Thai barbecue. Our homemade John sauce on chicken wings is phenomenal. That is a really nice sauce for chicken wings. And we do a few dry rubs as well. We have a great garlic parm dry rub. We have a buffalo lemon pepper dry rub that will blow you away. Probably our most popular topping for our wings out of all sauces and all dry rubs. The lemon pepper flies off the shelf the most. And of course, Old Bay and Jamaican jerk. You got to have those, as a staple. So so a variety of different sauces to choose from for the wings. Also offer all those same sauces for our chicken tenders and our popcorn chicken as well.
Nice. Oh, I love popcorn chicken because they're just so small and easy and crisp.
Big item with the kids. Kids love
Yeah.
the popcorn chicken. Yep, it's quick, it's easy. And ours are really good. They're pre-seasoned with like a nice little, you like the black pepper flakes and like some garlic and paprika. Really good, really tasty item.
Yeah. It's amazing like how just a little bit of paprika on a fried chicken, or already fried chicken, it just kind of pops that flavor like nice, real nice.
It's funny you say so. All right, I'll give you the secret now in my flour. It's not really secret, right? I'm sure most people do this, but my seasoned flour, we obviously do, salt, pepper. I do salt and white pepper. And then I do a little paprika, a little garlic powder, a little bit of dry mustard.
Okay.
Also really adds like a little something, extra to it. So that's the seasoned flour mix. And then the second mix, usually mix that same seasoning up with a little bit of Texas breading. And I'm telling you, the finished product is something else. It's a monstrosity.
I'm definitely gonna have to try some of your chicken because I mean, cheesesteak wise, I'm gonna have to try it because you said that you'd put it up against some of my favorites. And then
Absolutely.
yeah, and then the chicken, of course, like the way like just your flour concoction, like I would love that. So I would have to try that. Wings wise, I would dry rub the garlic parm and I forget which one made me go, ooh, oh, the habanero.
Mango's very good. My garlic parm, you can only get it at one place in the state, and I'll never tell where I get it.
I won't, I'm not asking. You
Really,
already
really
you
good.
already
Really
divulged
good.
one secret.
It's a real nice. It's got a great flavor to it. Because I personally don't like the wet garlic parm sauce. I like the dry rub much better.
Yeah.
My partner and I, he was like, "You got to have the wet garlic parm," and I'm like, dude, I'm using a veto on that one. Like, can't do it. Not
Huh.
gonna happen. So I won that argument. I don't win many other ones though.
Well, okay. So we ran out of time because we were having so much fun and hopefully we made everybody hungry so that they run out and try some of your stuff. But where can they find you in person, online? And when is your tentative food truck date?
Yeah. So online, actually, I have a meeting with our designer tomorrow to finalize the website. So that should be up by the end of the week. So you just go www.phatjawns.com. You can also find us on any of your third-party delivery apps, such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, not yet, but we're working on something for that soon. You can order online through Toast Tab, which is our POS system. There's online ordering through Toast as well. Or you can just come right down to the American Legion, located at 39 Fort Dix Road in Pemberton, New Jersey. Hours of operation as of right now are Thursday through Monday, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., looking to add Wednesdays sometime in June. So we'll have a 6-day operating week.
Yeah.
Food truck events will be posted on the website once she's up and posted. But for the next couple of Saturdays, if you're in the Medford area, you can find us over at Farm Truck Brewing. It's right on Main Street there in Medford. We were there this past Saturday. Two great owners over there, Brooke and Jay. Met with them. They were fantastic, super welcoming. The crowd was great. Everybody, we got a lot of positive feedback from having the truck there, and we really enjoyed being over there. So we're going to work to get over there. Also working to get at the Columbus Farmers Market, which is a gigantic place where you can fulfill all of your shopping needs on a beautiful Saturday or Sunday. And then when you're done, you come out to the truck and you grab a cheesesteak and you're good to go.
There you go. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining me on Food Farms and Chefs.
Thank you for having me. It was great. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No problem. And be sure to tune in every single week as we have a new episode of Food Farms and Chefs.